Walmart employees, what's the worst thing you have seen inside your store? So I used to stock the crafts section on overnights. I'm kinda an awkward person, so no human contact was great for me. This old guy on a scooter insisted upon sitting in my aisle for like hours, just staring at the needles. Okay, whatever. I stocked everything I could. But finally I needed him to move ... and honestly I was a little creeped out at this point. I mentioned it to my manager on the way to lunch. After lunch he was gone. Turns out he had died there like 5 hours ago. Had a customer in a motorized scooter, his personal one, not store provided, come up to me at the sporting goods desk and he asked me where the cans of compressed air are. I walk him over to some and he thanks me, grabs a can off the shelf, and proceeded to start huffing it right in front of me. My time to shine. First job out of high school, 2009, moved cross-country to be with my girlfriend, end up working at a Walmart as a janitor overnight in the worst part of town in Tulsa, Admiral, Memorial for any locals. This place had everything it could underlock. High theft, and a few people had died there, so the workers nicknamed it Kill Mart. One night, a guy is in the sporting goods area and wants to buy something. He takes his wallet out, sets it on the counter for a second. Thief walks up and grabs it, runs off. The victim proceeds to grab a golf club, chase the man down and violently beat him in an aisle. Blood, broken neck, I'm like 95% positive the guy died, destroyed aisle. Everyone in the store flipped, a bunch were calling people to view it in the CCTV room. My manager waved me down and asked me to clean up the aisle so the store would look nice for the morning. You know, the crime scene. I clocked out for lunch, quit the next day. I've only been working at a Walmart for 2 weeks. I've had 3 people lose their temper on me. One woman slammed her cart into someone else's cart because she couldn't buy alcohol with an expired ID, and one guy tried to walk away with a whole cart of groceries, in which a different customer walked after him and literally dragged him back inside. Again, 2 weeks. Edit, I'm getting asked this a lot, so I'll explain. Stores can't accept expired IDs because they're considered invalid. If invalid IDs were accepted, then it would create an aftermarket for those IDs, which would then make it easier for people under 21 to get a hold of something they could potentially use to illegally purchase alcohol. I worked at Walmart about 20 years ago, being the manager of the photo lab before digital took over. So my department was right next to the electronics department. I'm chatting with the manager of the electronics department, and all of a sudden we hear a woman yell, "Here it comes." We then see a middle-aged woman frantically scuttling down the aisle, holding her shorts near the back. She ran to the restroom, leaving a trail of liquid SH behind her. It looked like when a dog is sick and you're trying to get them out the door before they make a mess all over your carpet, and they keep stopping to SH every few seconds. An employee went in with a pair of pants off the shelf to help out. She put them on and made a beeline toward the exits without paying for them, leaving her soiled shorts in the stall on the floor. Somebody put bleach, ammonia and Drano in the fish tanks. Another time somebody sprayed deer pee all over the toy section. I am really glad I don't work there anymore. Not an employee, but a very frequent Walmart shopper. All the Walmarts around me are pretty nice, never seen anything nasty going on. But, there was an incident once that still sticks with me to this day. When I was younger, my mom had to grab meds at Walmart in the middle of a storm. It wasn't a bad storm or anything, just very rainy with some thunder, but it was supposed to continue for several days, so of course the store was packed. So we were in line at the in-store pharmacy, and there was a man who was clearly mentally disabled, with a helper, in the front of the line. The man between us and them was this dude who in my young mind must be a lawyer, did not fit the stereotypical Walmart look at all, wearing an expensive-looking suit, perfectly gelled hair, literally carrying a briefcase. He looked annoyed that he was there at all. He intensely reminded me of Patrick Bateman, just an air of disinterest and arrogance, and was brushing his coat off every time anyone walked too close to him. "Everything's fine," and the guy and his helper at the front of the line get their prescriptions and start to turn around. Just as they do, there's a huge thunderclap and suddenly, the power goes out in the store. It's not pitch black, but it's dark as hell, and immediately there's commotion in line. I look up just in time to witness disabled man punch lawyer dude square in the face. Lights flicker, come back on. Lawyer man is standing there holding his bloody nose looking like he's ready to murder someone. Disabled guy is freaking out, helper is profusely apologizing and trying to help lawyer guy. Lawyer guy waves him off with a glare, walks to the front and calmly says his name plus info and throws down some money. Pharmacist hands him prescription, which he snatches wordlessly and turns away, brushing past me still holding his nose, leaving a trail of blood on the linoleum floor. I don't know why, but the entire thing felt so surreal. I still remember it like it just happened. Wildest thing I've ever seen in Walmart. I worked at Walmart for all of my teenage years, and there was so much poop where it shouldn't be. That's the most disgusting. The worst would have been when some thieves attempted to run out the door, followed closely by loss prevention, turned around and sprayed them with mace, which then wafted into the store. A few seniors had to be taken to the hospital for respiratory issues. Everyone working in the store spent all day coughing as the mace lingered in the air, because heaven forbid they shut the store down and think of anyone else's health. Worked there for a month as a summer gig during prime recession time. Luckily my department was a lot less crazy than some of the others or someone like a janitor. Plenty of weird stuff happened in my short time there, but only one thing really scarred me, and it isn't what you'd expect. One day employees and lower management in departments around mine kept getting pulled in for questioning and I never did, so I was on alert. Finally I get called in and all the higher management were in there with concerned faces. Turns out a black employee accused me of racism and harassing him, saying that I called him the N-word multiple times. Not only did I never do this, but I'd never even had a full conversation with this guy before because something seemed wrong with him, so I just avoided him if I could. This is a big deal for any company and I instantly started having a small panic attack because I've never been put into a situation like that, and my only defense was that all I could say was no, I never did that. Luckily one of the managers brought up checking security footage for conclusive evidence in case a lawsuit or something of that nature popped up. In the end they had security go through every minute of security footage of when I was working and saw that not once did I have a single interaction with the guy. The whole thing shook me up and it all just made me feel bad, so I never worked there again. Edit. I've had a handful of people message ask about general timeline questions. He reported me first thing in the morning and by late noon it was settled, thankfully. I had to stew in the windowless room of emotion the whole time thinking I may be labeled a racist. No, I did not work the rest of my shift. I was so emotionally distraught and sick to my stomach they gave me the rest of the day off. First thing next morning during opening I came in and told them it gave me bad anxiety and didn't think I could do it. They were very understanding and even paid me in cash for the full day's worth, which may not be policy but it was nice. Worst ever. Some people signed up for an oil change, then threw one of those household bug bomb foggers into their car while they waited. When the technician went out to pull the car in, it was full of white smoke from the insecticide and the interior was covered in thousands of roaches all trying to escape the fog. We told them to leave. Worst this week. Guy signs up for an oil change, and the technicians find 2 live cats in under the hood of the minivan. The owner came out to deal with it, saying they were his. Other than the people freaking out and throwing SH, and one junkie who continuously stole cans of compressed air for dusting computers to do whippets in the handicapped bathroom, how that didn't kill him I still don't know. One story stands out. This elderly obese woman came in with her service dog, a little chihuahua or something, probably for anxiety. Gets one of the electric scooters, puts the dog with its leash into the basket. During the course of her shopping, the leash goes through the grate of the basket onto the floor and gets run over by the wheels of the scooter. The leash gets twisted up in the motor of the scooter. Eventually, the leash gets yanked tight and begins to strangle the dog. The dog uses what little air it has to panic, but quickly falls silent. The woman does nothing about this. Once she gets to the front of the store, she decides to check on the dog, strangled to death 6 inches in front of her. She flips SH and screams at every employee she can find, telling them to do something, save her dog. I guess she didn't know it was dead, it was their fault, blah blah. The dog had been dead for almost 20 minutes before she decided to check on it. Piss and SH all over the inside of the cart that she didn't manage to notice or smell for 20 minutes. I no longer work at Walmart. I unfortunately have no idea whether she sued or not, or what really came of it afterwards. I was an overnight manager at the time. The store is located in the worst area of a major city at a 24-hour store. At around 2 a.m. the overnight loss prevention associate had just caught a guy shoplifting on the cameras and I had been called up to help him. Things go smoothly. The guy had stolen less than $50 worth of stuff and complied, so it went pretty easy. After letting the shoplifter go, the loss prevention associate had some paperwork to do, so I jumped on the cameras to see what's going on in the store. I soon find a shady-looking individual lurking around the electronics department. He's clearly making sure no one is in the vicinity watching him. He sneaks into an aisle and grabs an all-in-one monitor, desktop combo wrapped in spider wrap. I still don't know why a $1,000+ computer wasn't locked behind a cage. He quickly takes it to a different aisle, easily works the spider wrap off the box, takes the computer out and shoves it into his sweatpants. Slinking over into the clothing racks and apparel, he hides the computer in some pants and sneaks around for the next 15 to 30 minutes trying to watch the employees up front by the registers. At this time of night only our cigarette aisle is open. All of a sudden, while watching a blonde lady in our only open register line and crouched behind a rack of shirts, he pulls out his D and starts swanking it. Then he wiped himself clean on a shirt that was hanging in front of him. At this point we know we don't want to deal with him at all, so we call the cops. Well, as soon as he finished cleaning off, he heads back to where he hid the computer, puts it back in his pants, and starts to head our way. We realized he was going to get to us before the cops, so as soon as he passes out last point of sale we head out of the monitoring room and confront him. It is here that I should mention that we are supposed to be a hands-off store. As in, if we confront a shoplifter we're supposed to stop them with words. But at this location in the middle of the night everybody's a runner. Obviously this guy decides to run. We tackle him and pin him to the ground. Luckily soon after the police show up and we let them handle him from there. Edit. Changed student to Sutton.